Hello everybody, this is Stephen Elson, this is Full Time Devils, and I'm joined by this delightful bunch, and we're going to preview the Barcelona game. I've got Adam McCullough from this channel called the Full Time Devils. You should definitely check that out if you're a fan of YouTube stuff. I've got Abdul joining us from the fan cams, and we got Ben Pearce joining us as well, one of our illustrious commentary members from the famous Arsenal Fan TV versus Full Time Devils match. So welcome lads, how are you all doing?
Good mate. Good mate, how are you?
Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah,
right,
Sam.
the first topic that we are going to talk about today is America. We're going to talk about the preseason tour. It is the last game of the preseason tour coming up against Barcelona. What to you guys makes a good preseason, and has this been a good preseason? Abdul, I'm going to come to you first.
I think what makes a good preseason is obviously getting all the players fit, getting them ready for the actual season to start, which we didn't really have last season. And I think we missed the City game. We'd only really played 2 games. I think it was Wigan when we were here, and the other one was against Dortmund, I think, in China. And it just wasn't enough. Obviously, you need to get your training in every day and all of that, and keep your players fit, get them back in, obviously, to game mode, and then have a few games. 4 to 5 it sounds pretty good. And I think we're playing 6 altogether because we're playing one in Dublin and the other one in Norway. I think, I'm not too sure, but I'm 4 in America, and obviously the players, getting them out the UK and somewhere like America, enjoy themselves as well, a different experience. So I think this pre-season is definitely 100 times better than what we did last season.
Ben Pearce, what do you reckon? Has it been a good pre-season? And what do you think really makes a good pre-season?
Well, the gaffer's happy. That's the main thing. And on top of that, I think what sets this one out to others is the team chemistry looks insane. Like, they all look like they're having a great time, and United aren't afraid to share that online by the looks of things as well. There's been a lot going on. It's been a busy pre-season. I was worried about the flights because they were based in LA, but then they were flying out to Texas, and they flew out to the last game, and they're flying out now to Washington, I think. So there's a lot of flights in there, but Mourinho said that that's not a problem. For pre-season, for me, it's just about building the fitness. I said in the first preview, my worry was that we're going to be gassed out because of so many games. But the way Mourinho's using the rotation, the way he's using the chance to play different formations and different systems, is actually using pre-season really nicely. So I'd say that this pre-season's gone as good as it could have. Matters back in training, so that's not a bad injury. Haven't heard on Herrera yet. Other than that, fully fit. Some of the young lads have played well. McTominay played brilliantly the other day. So, I think it has been a good pre-season. A mixture of the lads together, the chemistry's good. That's all you want from it, really.
Well, a lot of people talk about the number of games, don't they? Like, the number of games is going to really affect us. But like you said, when we're only playing 45 minutes or sometimes half an hour for a lot of these players, I think the training sessions that they're having in the morning before a game, or even the day before a game, are probably going to be more intense than that 30 minutes that they play when they play the game.
Sorry, so I was just saying, I think it's just because when you look at the schedule, it's like a game every 2-3 days, and that does look like a lot from an outsider. But when you think about how big that squad is and the minutes that the player's going to play, and as you said, either way, they're going to be training in the morning, then this game is just going to be like a little warm down / second phase of training throughout the day. So it all works, and the boss isn't going to set it up blindly. He's going to know what he's doing with it. So it must be going all right. He's happy. We should be happy.
McCullough, what do you reckon? Has this been a good pre-season for United?
Yeah, it's been a lot better than last season. I think last season was a bit of a disaster. Obviously, not helped by the fact that Jose came in about a few weeks before they left for pre-season training. But I think it's been a good tour so far. Obviously, the knocks to Mata and Herrera haven't been great, but I think they're not too bad, so nothing to worry about there. The results haven't been too bad, even though they're not the main thing. They're not important at all, really. And despite the fact that if we were to have a penalty shootout anytime soon, we should be worried. I think we've been pretty good in terms of the preparation we've been making. I thought the game against Manchester City was a little bit more difficult. The Real Salt Lake was a bit more difficult than the LA Galaxy game, and the difficulty levels of these games are getting harder. Barcelona are deep into their preseason now. When we played Real Madrid and we played Man City, that was their first games. So with Barcelona being, I think it's 2 games into their preseason, there'll be a bit of a better opposition for us as well, and that'll be another task. But I think the players are looking good. The manager's happy as well. I think the way he set up camp was that the club was always based at UCLA, so that was home, and we were basically traveling to the other matches when we needed to. Santa Clara wasn't too far away. The LA Galaxy game wasn't too far away, and the Real Salt Lake game and the Houston. I think they flew straight in and out. So I think preparation has been a lot better, and hopefully we'll feel the benefit of that when we hit the floor running at the start of the season, because we really have to.
Where do you want to see us go
There
next year?
goes the police. Australia.
Where do you think we'll go
India.
next year?
China. I think they'll go America again. I think it's just the best thing to do. I think it's easier for everybody, and I think the facilities and everything are pretty good. When you go to, like, we saw they went to the bird's nest in China and the game didn't even go ahead. So I think it's just easier to just stick it out in America.
The money's also there because a lot of the sponsors are there too, aren't they?
Yeah, they get the same amount of money probably for going to America as they do to go into China or anything like that. And Adidas gets to do all their glitz and glam and all that shit. I think Jose's got a thing for Beverly Hills in LA.
And also, have you seen the price of some of the tickets that's been going out there? It's absolutely scandalous. The tickets for for the Manchester United game against Barcelona, $335 for ones that aren't even
Face value.
Face value, mate. Yeah, face value, $335. I think the cheapest tickets in there is $130, which is absolutely insane, isn't it? But this is what we're dealing with. Prestige, pre-season friendlies and all the rest of that sort of stuff. So I'm going to come to some comments now. We've got a couple of comments from you guys that are watching. Positives from pre-season. This was from Aniket. Pereira, Rashford up front. Lukaku, a fit Jones. Negative, still got a need for a central defensive midfielder. Evident. Elliot says, everybody smash that like button now. I like you, Elliot. You can come again. Balzia says, when is the match? The match is on Thursday morning at midnight. So that's essentially Wednesday night, half midnight, but also it's Thursday morning, isn't it? It's an awkward time for those of us in the UK. If you're in the States, I'm sure it's late on Wednesday. Adam, we've got a lovely view of the top of your head there. That's fantastic. Thanks for doing that. And the last comment we've got is Paul Gibson says, come on guys, we beat Real on penalties. We're going to win the World Cup. That's what I like to see. A little bit of perspective. Everyone keeping it chill on the back of pre-season success, because we could end up international champions of the world. I think that's what the International Champions Cup all about, isn't it? Anyway, so the next one that we're going to talk about is Lindelof. There's a couple of people that have turned on him already after giving away the penalty against Real Madrid. Is it too soon to judge him in his United career based off a pre-season? Ben Pearce.
Ben Pearce.
Yep, Ben Pearce, we've got no audio, so I'm going to...
I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, here he is.
Sorry.
Here he is. He's here.
I'm here. Sorry, yeah, we had the same conversation in the Real Salt Lake preview after he made a couple of errors leading up to LA Galaxy goals, I think. It's a bit harsh. Again, it's just pre-season. Players are still fighting fit. Some are going to be more advanced than others. Some have had more luxurious holidays in the summer than others. So it's much of a muchness that... It was a stupid tackle, wasn't it, to give away that pay? It was a ridiculous tackle. I
think it's classified as assault.
Yeah, well, along those lines. So, and other than that, he didn't put a foot wrong in the game. Other than that tackle. So it's people jumping on that more than anything. I would say still the positive.
Well, see penalty?
Yeah, but are we really going to look into those penalties? Are we really going to look at the rest of them?
I'm just pointing at the fact that it wasn't the only thing he did wrong in that game. But
Okay, yeah. So there's two penalty faults there for Lindelof. But no, other than that, he done well. Again, the big positive is him on the ball. On the ball, he's superb. But I think you pointed out when we signed him, Housen, defensively, there's still he just seems a yard behind, doesn't he? Whenever someone's running at him with the ball, which is a bit worrying. But again, it would improve when he gets playing in the Premier League. He won't be allowed to make these mistakes, and he would have to come on leaps and bounds. So it's one of those. I think let's wait. Let's give him a few games in the league before we start really getting on his back.
Well, I don't want anyone to get on his back. We're just talking honestly about what we're seeing. Abdul, what do you reckon?
I think I agree with Ben. Just like give him a couple of games in the Premier League, see how he does. Because personally, I'd still stick to buying Rojo. A lot of people, when you think about it, wouldn't work. But I think it was one of our best partnerships for a while. We had Bayern Rojo. Rojo was sort of doing the work on the ball. Surprisingly, he was a bit rash sometimes, but when those two were together, they were responsible, and Jose trusted them together at the back, and they were solid. So as soon as Rojo's back, I'd see him coming back in. But like I'm saying, Smalley's still making mistakes as well. So up until now, Lindelof's been not too bad at all on the ball. Like Ben said as well, he always feels like he's a yard behind. He doesn't always feel like he's on point as a defender. If you don't feel comfortable when a player's running at him, and I think he's missing a bit defensively, but let's see what he does in the Premier League. Maybe Bailly next to him will sort of help him out in continuous games. whilst they get used to each other.
Adam, what do you reckon?
Yeah, if we rushed out on judgment on Vidic and Evra, then they wouldn't have stayed at the club and become the legends that they did. And of course, not every defender is going to be Vidic and Evra. Of course, there's going to be a flop here and there. And I hope, like everybody else, that Victor Lindelof isn't that defensive flop that we've been waiting to come along under Jose Mourinho, because Jose knows how to spot a centre-half. One thing I would say is, though, whenever he's played for Manchester United so far, there's been 45 minutes here, 45 minutes there. He's playing with a different goalkeeper behind him every single time. He's playing with a different centre-half partner. He's played in a back three. He's played in a back four. He's played with different midfields in front of him. He's playing constantly with different people around him. There's no continuity there. There's no familiarity for him to pick up, or no partnerships for him to get used to. So I think that part of things will be difficult. I think in his first couple of games, he went unnoticed, really. And I think that's good for a centre-half. If you don't notice your centre-half, it usually means they're doing all the right things. And then against Real Madrid, he looked a little bit out of his depth. But I mean, apart from that penalty challenge, and of course his awful penalty kick, which, like Ben said, you can't hold his penalty kick against him. I mean, everyone misses a penalty kick sometimes. But yeah, just don't judge him yet. I think we've got to give him time. I'll be honest, I didn't know too much about him before he came to the club, so I'm not going to pretend like, he's shit or he's amazing, and I know the best about him. I don't. But what I would say is Jose knows how to spot a centre-back. Give him time. He's not going to settle straight away, and you've got to look at what he's had to deal with as well in pre-season.
I would agree that there's not been the continuity around him, and he hasn't been shockingly bad. I think there's people been overreacting about it just a little bit, but people want to talk about him, I think. And that's
people overreact.
Because they want to talk about a new signing. They want to assess him. How's he done? We saw Lukaku didn't score in his first game. People's writing articles about him not scoring in pre-season, then he scores and everyone shuts up. I think there's a little bit of an element of overanalyzing stuff sometimes, but I'm not seeing Lindelof be different from what he was at Benfica. This is the player that you get. Excellent on the ball, question marks over positioning and stuff. But that's the sort of thing that I do hope that Manchester United as a team unit and Jose Mourinho as a tactical manager can iron out. And I hope that he does iron that sort of stuff out of him, because he isn't a Bailly. He's a totally different style of defender to Bailly. And maybe they could learn a little bit off each other, and maybe they would be a perfect blend together. But like I said, that's going to take games, and it might even take months for that sort of thing to develop. So we do have to be patient with him, and I do hope that he isn't the flop, and I do hope that he is a success. But I don't think you can just say, because Vidic and Evra was bad in their first few games, that then it just excuses everybody else that you have assigned for being bad in their few games as well. I think you've got to take all these cases individually, and you've got to assess them on their own merits. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to a 30-second advert, which I don't know if anyone even sees, but here we go.
Subscribe to youtube.com/AdamCola. There's your advert.
And there we go. And we see the top of Adam's beautiful head again. So we're going to go to the starting 11s.
I can't move my neck without... Shut up.
We're going to go to the starting 11s. We are still doing the competition. The pre-season competition currently looks as Adam at 14 points is top of the league. Ben is next with 11, then John Shin with 8, Charlie on 6, Mo, Suf on 4, on 5, Abdul, you're on 4, Statman Daddy is on 4, Joshi and Simon Preston are on 3. It's tough going picking a starting 11 in pre-season, isn't it?
No.
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm top of the league.
All right then, Gobby.
Yeah, that's because you're on
your team
most
in on time,
previews.
so let's see
Adam,
what your starting 11 is.
You've been on more pre-season, as many pre-season previews actually.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you have 2 each. 2 each.
No,
Right,
what?
Adam,
That's
give us your starting 11.
My starting 11, sorry, I just texted to Chris a minute ago. It's, I never texted to Chris a minute ago. I put some research into this. This is why I'm top of the league. Joel Pereira in goal. Romero and David played the other day, didn't they? So, guessing that may mean it's Joel Pereira's turn. Valencia, Bailey, Smalling, Darmian. Carrick, Pogba, Herrera. I think we'll go with the midfield 3 again. Marshall, Lukaku, Rashford. I just want to see Marshall, Lukaku, Rashford and see what happens. Because we're going to have so much space against Barcelona side to hit them on the counter-attack. To get the legs of Rashford and Lukaku, Rashford and Marshall either side of Lukaku. Be interesting to see.
I am very interested to see if we do go a 3-5-2 in this one, and I would love to see us go 2 up front and put Barcelona on the back foot, because not many teams do that. They try and play to their strengths, don't they, and try and counter their strengths. But I think if you went for them, you could probably do it. We've got nothing to lose, have we? Let's face it. I mean, we might not be International Champions Cup winners of the world, but I would like to see us try and actually attack them. Abdullah, what's your starting 11, mate?
Going for Romero in goal. I think basically Jose is just gonna start giving him a couple more games before we start getting into Europe, because I think he's gonna do the same as last year. Give him most of the cup games, most of Europe, and even though you'd expect De Gea to get the Champions League, but I think Jose trusts Romero a lot, and especially if De Gea ends up leaving. So I'd see Romero starting. Then you got Valencia, Smalling and Blind. I think he's going to see if he pairs them in the Super Cup. Mitchell at left back. I think Jose would want to see more of him because he's done all right up until now in the pre-season. Then I've gone for Carrick, Pogba and Pereira. Herrera's obviously looks injured for now. And then I'm going for Mkhitaryan, Lukaku and Rashford. I'd want to see Martial, Rashford and Lukaku, but that's what I expect to see anyways.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go complete. He's going to have someone in there that's going to do a bit of defensive stuff in that forward line, I think. But yeah, good starting 11. Yeah. Ben, what is your starting 11, pal?
I need some points here. So I'm going to look at partnerships. I'm going to play some partnerships that we haven't seen yet properly. So I've gone, yeah. Well, Ant's not around at the moment, is he?
Dick and Dom.
Dick and Dom, that's a good shout. Let's go Romero in goal. Mainly same reasons.
Bill and Ben.
Bill and Ben.
Malcolm and Wise.
Tom and Jerry.
Showing your age there,
Good one.
Itchy and Scratchy.
Nice.
Can I do my team? Just because you know I'm going to win this, Adam.
Stan and Kyle.
You can't say Stan and Kyle because you got to say Eric and
No, don't.
the other one.
They're a partnership, though. They're best friends. Go on, Ben, as you were.
All right, Romero in goal. Valencia.
Terence and Philip.
We haven't seen Lindelof and Bailly play as a 2 yet. We've seen them in a 3 defence. So I'm going to go them 2 at the back. Then I'm going to go Blind, left back. And I think he's going to go 2 holding, then 3-1. So I'm going with Carrick, Pogba, holding, Lingard, Mkhitaryan, Martial, and Lukaku up top. Again, we haven't seen Carrick, Pogba holding in a pre-season game yet. Went for that. We haven't seen Lindelof Bailly in a back 2 yet. Gone for that. And also Martial says he wants consistency from him at the end of the other day's game. So I'm thinking if he does start him today, he's sort of going against, tomorrow, he's going against what he was saying. If he does start him, then it's sort of going in with what he's saying with the consistency. So there's my flawed logic.
No one's gone with a 3-5-2. Surprised at that. I really do think we're going to try a 3-5-2 against Barcelona because I think we can see the 3-5-2 playing against the smaller teams. And how having 2 strikers on the pitch makes that work. But I think you can also play it against the bigger teams where you're not expecting to have as much possession and use one of those forwards as a defensive forward that really puts the pressure on that back line, and especially a back line like Barcelona's. We saw it work excellent against Chelsea. I think it's the perfect time to use it. I think he didn't want to use it against Pep because I think it might work against Pep's sort of style. But then again, Valverde, the new Barcelona boss, don't really know what his style of play is with this sort of team. So it's going to be interesting to find out.
Barcelona style of play.
Does he have a Barca style of play, or is he going to be bringing a Bilbao and Olympiacos style of play to Barcelona? So we're going to talk about the opposition. I'm going to come to you first, Abdullah. Tell me about Barcelona, and can you tell me anything about this new gaffer?
Personally, I don't know much about him, but he does want Herrera at Barcelona, and that's definitely not happening. So that's really what I know about him. He was at Bilbao for a few years. Apparently, he wanted Fellaini very highly. That. I'd love that.
Abdullah's been reading the Sun about this summer, ain't he?
But no, I don't really know much about him. They've got some guy called Messi. He's all right, but in terms of Barca, well, that's about it.
For that amazing insight into Barcelona, you absolute
cheers, mate.
Ben, what do you know about Barcelona?
Yeah, they're all right. They've got a good size. Neymar scored a wicked goal against Juventus. What's this all about? I don't get it anymore. He scored a cracking goal against Juventus. So they're raring to go. And they played 1 game, Howson, I think. Yeah,
they played and beat Juventus. That's their first pre-season so far.
Is that their only one? Okay, well then, again, it is still a level up, though. It's a step up from Madrid, so it's going going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it.
Is it?
No. I mean, in terms they've been in training a bit longer than Madrid anyway, and this is their second game. We played Madrid in their first game.
They are playing their strongest 11 as well. Messi, Neymar, everybody's the whole band's back together. So I do expect a good challenge from Manchester United. Makola, what do you know about this small team from Catalonia?
Shite.
Can we actually be serious and let's talk about the strengths and weaknesses of Barcelona here? Because they're absolutely banging team, and I'm really interested to know how they're going to line up with this.
Don't cry, Alison. Don't cry. Don't cry.
Just shut up.
Stop crying.
Just shut up.
You disappoint me, lads. Honestly, you disappoint me. You disappoint me massively. Because I think that this Barcelona side, with a manager that's more pragmatic, like the guy that's come from Bilbao, Ernesto Valverde, for anyone that's interested.
I don't think there will be more pragmatic. I don't think you can be. If you play with a Messi, Suarez, Neymar, you're not going to be able to drop one of them. Obviously, I don't know if they're going to play all them three tomorrow at the same time from the start. But if you go to play, you can't play pragmatically with those three. You see, it just doesn't happen, does it? If you do, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're playing a game.
Depends how you line your midfield up, doesn't it? Of course it does.
Not really. Because if you play those three, the most you can have in midfield is a free.
Not really.
Right? Really, yes.
Well, not really.
You're going to do a 3-4-3. That's unrealistic.
You could do.
Even DT knows that.
You can't say the most you're going to have is a 3 because you can play a 4. You could play a 5 because essentially they play like a 5 anyway. They only have 2
They're not going
centre-backs.
to play a 3-4-3 though, are they? I don't know. They might have done that in the past, but it just doesn't sound like someone would do that. If you're going to play with
the English Premier League playing 3-4-3 last
season. If you're going to play with a three centre backs, you need 2 wing backs.
They've got Semedo on. They got Semedo on Alban. I think that works as wing backs because they got pace. Can get.
All right, we've figured out that no one knows jack shit about this small team from.
Well, he knew they signed Nelson Semedo. He was supposed to come to Man United.
That's the only reason I knew him.
British newspapers linking him to United, and we were talking about him on tomorrow's transfers today.
Well, I just said they look for
shut up, Abdul. I'm talking tomorrow's transfers today. You know, tomorrow's transfers today, 8 p.m. Monday to Friday. I'm on tonight.
No one
11 p.m.
No one wants to watch you,
absolute
mate.
widge.
It's on here.
Howson's on. We'll watch.
It's on Full-Time Devils at 11 p.m.
Yeah, thank you. Finally. Right, give us your score predictions, Makola.
7-0 to United.
Brilliant. Abdul, give us your score prediction.
3-1 United.
I'm going to come to the comments in a second and see what you guys reckon about the scores as well, because these lot are not giving me anything at all whatsoever. The last time we played them, we beat them.
That was realistic.
With Rooney in the team. Ben, give us your score prediction.
7-0 to United.
Oh my God.
What are you trying to say about Rooney, Steve? Can we just clear this up right now? This is United.
I said Rooney was playing. Rooney played.
Yeah, you said we beat them with Rooney in the side, so
that's a fact. I mean, you can infer from that what you like, but that was a fact.
Sounds like a negative to me.
Not really. I mean, we also had Januzaj and Jesse Lingard in the team who scored.
Yeah, but Jesse's great. We know your opinions.
It was simply a fact, Adam. Just because you've got an agenda against Wayne Rooney. Guy's a legend. Right, so I think I'm going to go with, 3-2. I think there's going to be more goals in this one than we've seen so far. Well, apart from Galaxy had a lot of goals in it, but I think we're going to see quite a lot of goals in. It's going to be a bit more interesting than the Real Madrid game because, honestly, that was hard to watch. Comments-wise, we've got Jitty Pat says, play Blind as defensive midfielder. Okay, no problem. Romy Jackson says, it's only pre-season. Why is this even a topic? What? Why is what a topic? Oh, Lindelof. We're talking about Lindelof. Well, because he's a new signing and people want to talk about him. Sam Nevis says, Herrera is injured, isn't he? Excellent point. Well made. Who picked him in the team?
Adam.
Well done.
Herrera's made a steal.
And Kit says, that young boy Samper from Barcelona is class.
Lads,
says,
can I just say, we've only got 204 likes on this video and there's like 1,000 people watching. That's a bit shit to me. Is that a bit shit to you?
It's a bit shit because you're talking shit, so that's why
exactly.
It's down there. I mean, hit the like button. Why are we not getting Fabinho, says Quench. Maybe because we're not in for him. Maybe we're in for him and we are getting him, but, I don't know. What a mad question to ask. Damiano says Howson is a serious football head, and that is in capitals. So you know he's serious.
Move it, football head. Hey, Arnold and Gerald, there's another partnership.
Oh my God. When is this going to
Right,
end?
thank you everybody for joining us. Make sure you go and give these guys a follow on social media. Get your scores, comments, and anything else that you want to see. Do you know anything about Valverde? How do you expect his Barcelona side to evolve from what we've seen from Enrique and that ball fraud who's now at City? So let us know in the comments, and we'll see you for all our coverage of the game. We're going to be live just before kickoff with the team news, and then straight afterwards with our thoughts on the game, and we will see you then.